is launched.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of AF24NEWS Talks. Just as usual, I'm joined to my left by Dr. Olabisi Deji-Folutile.
Good evening.
This is the director here at AF24NEWS. And to my right, I'm joined by our editor, Dr. Olayinka Oyegbile.
Good evening.
So today we have a lot to discuss actually, but we want to start by talking a little bit about what unfolded last week. Nigerians were again frustrated when they heard that members of their government, their representatives, had presented or made a decision to import 360 SUVs. I think the total cost was about 57 billion naira, amounting to about 158 million per vehicle. Naturally, Nigerians not take too well with that news, and I just want to hear just preliminary thoughts on the issue.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me again this evening. Well, I would say that I wasn't surprised when the lawmakers told us that they were going to buy these expensive vehicles. It's usually that is the ritual. Anytime there is election and then new leaders are elected into the National Assembly, they always have their share of Nigeria's national cake, so to say. And the vehicle is just one of those pets that they consider to be part of their national cake. Well, having said that, do I support it? Definitely no. That is not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying that it is a ritual. And that is why people have been complaining about the cost of running this our own version of democracy. In fact, the democracy of Nigeria is like the democracy of Nigeria's resources to run Nigerian politicians' lifestyle and to maintain them. I don't think our own politicians have anything in their mind as a responsibility towards the people that voted them into power. And that is why in this economy as it is, that lawmakers will come up with the idea that they would like to buy a vehicle that is worth 158 million naira. Hey, as I'm sitting beside you, hey, I've been working for more than 30 years in my life. And when I tell you that I've been working, I've been one of the fortunate Nigerians that got job almost immediately after I graduated and did my new service. And I've never stopped working since that time. I've never stopped working. Even when after spending 25 years in Punch and leaving the place, and people felt, oh, you've paid your dues, you should relax and be working. But I'm still working, and I tell you that I'm working very hard. But I can assure you that I've never seen more than, how much did you call it? 158 million. All my life, I've never seen that kind of money. In fact, if they calculate all the money that has ever entered my hand in this life, I don't think it's up to 158 million naira. In other words, that money is not cheap. It's not as if because they are calling it means that is how it's been available to every other Nigerian. I have a PhD for crying out loud, and I've just told you that I spent 25 years, that is a quarter of a century. In Punch Nigerian newspaper, that is the highest paying newspaper medium in this country, Nigeria. And I rose to become an editor in that newspaper, and I'm telling you that 158 million naira, I don't think I've seen it. Number one, I've not even seen the 8 million together at once. So I don't know what we are talking about. So that's why I told you that I think our democracy is to maintain the politicians. I still have so many things to say about this thing, but let me just stop it there, because you called it my preliminary reaction. And pardon me for all my story, because it's really it's a shock to me.
Yeah, for the editor, I want to just ask, I want to piggyback off director said. In response to that, I think if we look at the response of the chairman of the committee for Senate services, that is Senator Sunday Karimi, he justified the decision, and he said that, he first of all mentioned that other ministers have, 4-3 SUVs in their possession, and that Nigerians don't speak to them. And he also mentioned that Nigerian roads are bad. That if he goes, in his own words, to his own senatorial district and comes back, the money he's spending on his vehicles will be a lot because our roads are bad. What do you think about the senator's statements?
In fact, that's the more reason why, if there are people who think, should that 158 million be devoted to buying a single car, or they pool those resources together and repair our roads? Because with 158 million times 366, you know how much, I'm not very good with figures, billions it will make. Okay. So take that one, how much did you say?
158 million.
No, the total.
Total figure is about 57 billion.
Take that 57 billion and pour it into all the roads that are bad in Nigeria. It will go somewhere. But because they are very selfish, our democracy, as the director said, is only being maintained to serve only the politicians. If you take that money and you put it on, let's even talk about road alone. We know what it will go, where it will go. And then, so you want to buy 158 million naira vehicle, because rather than repair the bad road. So you will take that 158 million naira vehicle to traverse those bad roads. So it means the vehicle will not spoil. Then the rest of us who are buying Tokumbo vehicle can continue to use it on those bad roads and continue to go to mechanic and all that to pay for it. It doesn't show that they are thinking at all. Well, rather, if they had used a quarter or some of part of that money to buy buses for themselves, when they are going, they go as a group. The car they are buying, is it for duty or for pleasure to go to their constituency? I'm not sure it is when they are going out as a group. It is just their own personal individual car. And as the director has said, it has always been like that. So why are we complaining? We are complaining because it is a ritual that must stop. And the chairman of the Senate Services Committee, as you said, has justified it, saying that they need it for crying out loud. These people are telling us that the economy is bad. We should sacrifice. But they don't want to sacrifice. So we continue to sacrifice until until we die, or how? People, there are people who, the retirement, they say you can retire after 35 years in service. Go and see what those retirees are going through. They can't get their retirement benefit. Even the little one that is to go to them are not going to them. Yet, our senators, somebody has been a governor for 8 years, is still collecting allowance as or salary as a former governor. He's in the Senate. He's collecting salary there. Every 4 years, they will give him new cars as a former governor. In Senate again, so what exactly is in this for the common man? It is very, very unthinkable that they continue to justify this and then ask us as the populace, the constituent, to continue to understand with government, and government is doing this, government is doing that. When will government do it? When are we going to see the result of what the government is doing? Time is going. So, it's very, very unconscionable what they are doing. 158 million for one single car. The same car they are going to drive on the road. There was one, I think a New York Times journalist who visited Nigeria, I think in 2003 or so. And he wrote a very beautiful piece, a travelogue. What was his conclusion? He said in Nigeria, he traveled around the country and he saw many fanciful and exotic cars that you will hardly see in New York, but you can see it on Nigerian roads. And what was his conclusion? He said they drive very expensive cars on a road they forgot to construct.
Interesting.
That's to tell you the how bad. And 2003 to now, Nigerian road was still better.
20 years ago.
And the Nigerian road were better then. So why should we be talking about the past that is better than the present? It should be the other way around. Unfortunately.
I think we also had a lot of reactions from human rights groups, lawyers, and I think the general consensus has just been disappointment from Nigerians. But I think there's a larger discussion that is at play, which the editor mentioned earlier, which is about just the sheer cost of running the government. And now when we talk about just trying to bring it to the light of recent, appointments by the government, increasing the cabinet size, and Senator Sunday is even saying, ministers are even doing worse than we are doing, as if to justify his own. So what do you think should be the attitude of the government? If this is a serious government, what should be the attitude of the government towards this backlash?
Well, actually, in fairness to government, we have three arms of government. We have the legislature, we have the executive, and we have the judiciary. So really, for the executive, I like Nigeria. This is the time they will talk about separation of powers. This is the time they will tell you that it's a legislative matter, and there is little or nothing they can do about it. Besides, the executive arm of government has also not done anything differently to even reflect that they are trying to cut costs. You mentioned the issue about the number of aides being appointed. At least for now, I think this administration
is the highest.
Is the highest.
Yes.
And more are still coming.
So, like I told you, this is a compensation ministry. And it's so unfortunate because that is the way we run our own democracy. And that is why people are not benefiting from the system. And that is why the people themselves should also be more involved in governance. Let me give you an example. Should a lawmaker go to visit his constituency with 380 million, and if they now bring him out and begin to pour cold water or pure water on him or stone him with eggs to register their displeasure, probably these lawmakers will know that people are not joking with them. Maybe they will feel it more. Maybe they will know that they need to work for the people. Because if we are waiting for the executive, we may wait forevermore and ever. But I think Nigerians will just have to, in a way, find a way of taking their own destiny into their own hands and cautioning these people. Now, another issue is this. I am not against them having vehicles. No, I'm not against them having vehicles. I even look at it like maybe an official vehicle for an appointment. It's not a big deal. I think Nigeria can actually afford to buy vehicles for these lawmakers. We have small motors. If we get these vehicles from this Nigerian company, this is homegrown. We are developing our economy, and it's going to work for everybody at the end of the day. But because these people don't care about national economical development, they are only interested in their own pleasure. Nobody is talking about patronizing local manufacturers, even for this kind of vehicle. It's even irresponsible for people that are supposed to ensure that roads are good to be the ones that now come back to complain that the roads are bad. Should I be the one to go and build the roads? And that is, that brings me back to this issue of all this our MOT, or what do they call it? They collect from us all the time.
Roadworthiness
and we should take our vehicles for
roadworthiness
and test. And you now do that, and they will major on it. Why? Because of the money they want to make from you. After doing that, they don't care. The roads that you will now take that vehicle through. In fact, one of the roads I took my vehicle through, the steering, I didn't know that it is electric steering. I don't know. I thought I don't know the difference between electronic or not electric. Anyway, I spent over 350,000 naira to repair that thing alone in my car. The mechanic explained to me that this car does not use this fluid. Steering
fluid.
Power steering. That because the car do I not know that it is, whether it's electric, he describe it or whatever. And I said, what is the difference? He was now explaining to me. Imagine. And I said, how did he get spoiled? He said, I must have used the car on a road that has plenty water. That the thing that destroyed that thing is water.
Yeah.
That once water enters through something, and of course I knew my road at that time. It was maybe a lagoon or whatever. But I paid trust me, I can't even drive the car without the roadworthiness permit, which I do all the time. But so government is not really concerned about the people, and governance is about people. That is the problem we have here. They are not concerned about the needs of the people, services for the people. No, all they are concerned about is dividend of this thing for us.
Them.
We are now there, and that is why they will kill themselves. There is nothing they will not do to get to that power, because it's not for service, it's for personal aggrandizement.
Just to piggyback off that point, like, let's just segue into what we have ongoing about just the entitlement of the government and trying to doing anything by all means to sort of go in power and establish themselves in power. Recently we had, just today actually, the governor of Rivers State, Governor Fubara, was given a notice of impeachment. And this was after yesterday the state house, the main chamber was on fire, and there were already those rumblings of like there was an impeachment plot. And just for today, the main speaker of the majority leader of the House, Edison Ehie, who is a loyalist of the governor, he was removed alongside 3 other members. And then all 24 members signed that notice of impeachment for Governor Fubara. Let me take it to editor. What would you take from this, considering the fact that we know already about the major sort of leanings of everything? Seems like, oh, it is a case of somebody trying to hold power or give power to who can be controlled or whatnot. What would you say about everything going on now?
Yeah, about that. But let me just say one word about the other issue. Unfortunately, the chairman of the Senate Services Committee said something that in a serious society is a terrible indictment of even the Senate. What did he say? He said they are buying the cars, imported cars, because they are of better quality. So what you are saying is that you don't need to patronize your own until they improve their quality. How will they improve when you don't buy it? You know that in the US, most official cars are American cars, Ford.
Yes.
And also in India, until recently, if you see any car that is a foreign car on the road, it is owned by diplomats. But in India, the president rides Tata, which is made or assembled in India. So coming back to what we are saying, the case of Rivers is very, very unfortunate. And it is the same thing that is happening everywhere. It's just like what we spoke about a while ago. You spent 8 years as a governor. You either want to go to the Senate. If you fail to go to the Senate, you become a minister. And whether you become a minister or you go to the Senate, you want to control the affairs of your state. Just before this program started, I went to a platform, and in 2018, then governor of Rivers State, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, came to Lagos. And he was talking to the then governor, Ambode, indirectly supporting him against fighting a godfather then. He said he must take himself away from a godfather and all that. Yes. But now, you are now a minister in Abuja. You still want to be the godfather of another man. It wasn't right for another man to be the godfather to somebody, but you now want to be a godfather to the man that you install.
Editor, I think
So,
you're still going far.
Okay.
Because I think before the election, they even asked this man that, okay, you know there is usually
friction between, yeah.
He said, what is the godfather doing here? That once somebody has been made governor, then the godfather should just leave and allow the governor to govern.
So what is the problem? What is the crux? I mean, what's the root of the problem now? It is the same thing. So it's easier said than done. He said it, but he didn't mean it. So I don't know. Honestly, I just hope that these people get their acts together, because the way they are going, they are creating a lot of problems. Is that what will solve the problem of Rivers State or problem of Nigeria? They are not facing the issues. All these things are personality clashes. And they are clashing not because of development for the people, but ego between themselves. And very unfortunate, I don't know how they want to stop that thing and then face the issue of development and growth of the country.
Director, do you have any thoughts to add concerning that?
Well, my own conclusion is my introduction. And that is the fact that these people, when they are going to that government, they are not going there because of you or because of me. They are going there because of themselves. And you see, Nigerians themselves, are the ones that we have to force them to do what is right, because you cannot be using our own patrimony to cater for yourselves alone. It's obvious from what is happening in Rivers now. I mean, when did this man become governor?
5 months ago.
5 months ago. So you already when will he have time to even think about the people? I was even asking myself, I said, when did they even start fighting? I don't even know the cause of this fight.
I mean, it's sudden. Up to now, nobody knows
the cause. But everybody just knows that before, for that man to be going through what he's going through, it must be because there must be something going on between him and his godfather. It is that bad. Even though we don't really know what it is, but people have already reached that conclusion. And from what we can see, you can see that the police are already tear-gassing a sitting governor. So you know that police is taking order from somewhere. And you can see the governor. In fact, the way I saw him today,
chief security officer,
he was even bundled though before he could get to a state to talk. Honestly, practically, he was pushed. Like he wanted to get to the podium. He couldn't walk through. It's like they carried him on top of heads of people before he could get to that podium. A governor. They are even saying city governor. I have no sympathy, because how did he become governor?
Anyway, that's true.
How did he become governor? He was also one of the boys of his master. Whatever it is, I think Nigerians should just make these people work for us, because they are not elected to come and we didn't elect them. Let me also put that one there, because if we elected them, they would have been answerable to us. Maybe where we start from is to first of all ensure that we make sure that whoever is going to get there is elected by us.
Yeah.
That is where to start from, because they don't answer to us. They don't respect us. They don't care about us, because they don't think they need us. That's why you see all this recklessness. They don't care, because they know that in another 4 years they will go there and they will get there. So I think my own advice for Nigerians is that one day we will get it. Let us continue. If it is to vote, go and vote. If it is to register, go and register. I have never missed any voting cycle in my life. I've always voted, and that is why I'm always happy anytime, anything, because I know that as for me,
I've done my part.
Responsibility, I have done it. I am not going to sit back and be complaining and all of that. So people also themselves should be more responsible. Nigerians should be more responsible. They should take their destinies into their hands. They should monitor the way and ensure that they participate fully in the electoral process, so that, little by little, we will make progress. All these politicians, they are not powerful.
They are not.
They are not powerful.
Yeah.
They are just riding on the fact that Nigerians are
docile.
When in fact, and I can tell you that even this Nigeria, if there is any protest for 2 weeks continuously, people tell you that whatever you want to do to us, do to us. There are so many policies that will be changed overnight, but are we ready? Let me end it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you again to our viewers for joining us on another episode of AF24NEWS Talks. To continue receiving these videos, you can subscribe to the channel. Also hit the like button, and there's a notification bell just beside the subscribe button that you can click to receive updates from us every time we post a video. Thanks once again, and have a wonderful day.